Hello there! Today I'm going to show you how to make a magic loop. Lots of crochet patterns use a magic loop, particularly if you're working in the round and you want to close off the central hole in the middle of the first round. So I'm going to show you a method for doing that. Now, you want to take the tail end of your yarn, and if you're right-handed, you're going to drape that tail end over the two middle fingers of your left hand. If you're left-handed, you'll be draping them around your right hand instead. Then you take the end of the yarn that's attached to the ball and wrap that yarn twice around those two middle fingers, and then pinch it between your finger and your thumb up there. So you've got 3 lengths of yarn across your fingers here. Now you're going to take your crochet hook and slide that crochet hook under all 3 lengths of yarn. Turn your hook up 90 degrees so it's pointing towards the ceiling. And then with this yarn that you've got pinched between your finger and your thumb, you're just going to grab that with the end of the hook, turn your hook horizontal again, and slide it back under all 3 lengths of yarn. And that gives you, if you can see it there, a twisted loop on your hook. Now we need to make a chain. So again, we're going to use this yarn that's pinched between your index finger and your thumb. You just come round, do a yarn over, and we're going to pull that yarn over back through the loop that's on your hook, like so. As soon as you've done that, you can take your fingers out the loops if you want to, because they're not going anywhere. So here we have our 2 loops and a tail, and sometimes the tail gets tangled up just in the loop, so you can move that to one side. Now, if you're right-handed, your tail needs to come off the left-hand side of the loops. So here are your loops, here's the tail. If you're left-handed and you're working the other way around, you'll have the tail coming off the right-hand side here, like that. So there's your loops, there's the tail. I'm going to work this one right-handed. Once you've got your tail in the right place, you can work all of your first round of stitches, and you're going to work them into the loop. Now I'm going to do this with 6 single crochet stitches. That's single crochet stitches if you're using US terms, it's double crochet if you're using UK terms. Obviously you would need to make however many stitches and the kind of stitches that you're asked to by the pattern. To make a single crochet stitch into this loop, don't yarn over, you just insert your hook into the loop, then yarn over, come back through, there's 2 loops on the hook, you yarn over and pull through both of them. So there's 1 stitch, and I'm going to do that another 5 times. In, yarn over, back through, yarn over through 2. In, yarn over, back through, yarn over through 2. There's 3, let's do another 3. One more. And there are my 6 stitches. Now at this stage you want to make sure that your stitches are all sitting nice and tidy, like birds on a wire, so they're all next to each other and they're all the right side up. And you know that they're all the right side up if you can see the V's across the top of the stitch all sitting next to each other like this. When you're happy that they're all nice and straight, hold those stitches and we're going to pull on the tail. We're just going to pull very gently because you'll see when you pull on the tail, one of the 2 loops will get smaller. See here? Now, we're not going to pull that all the way closed. You're going to stop when you have an obvious small loop and a big loop. We know that the small loop is controlled by the tail, so we can get rid of this loop second. We need to get rid of this loop first, this big loop here, and we do that by pulling on the tail side of the small loop. So the small loop is here, here's the tail, this is the tail side of the small loop, and we just pull and keep pulling that same side, and you should see the other loops start to move. And we're going to keep pulling until that goes and closes up completely. Nice and tight and tidy. And then we know this loop is controlled by the tail, so we just pull the tail, and we can keep going until that loop has disappeared as well. And then there's your magic loop all closed up. If you needed to slip stitch into your first stitch, you'd find your first stitch, insert your hook and slip stitch, or you might be working in continuous rounds, in which case you'd make your next stitch of the first round into the very first stitch round here. Thank you for watching.